Welcome back, everyone. Apologies about that. Obviously, our games crashed, which is why the stream then crashed, which is why I said goodbye to you all on that end stream. But we are back live here, of course, on Twitch and, of course, on YouTube later on. And we are here, of course, for the Italian Grand Prix, for the feature race, which will get going eventually. Hopefully, it will get going at the first time of asking as well. But my name is James Said. If you're just tuning in here for the first time, joining me in the commentary, of course, is Pariah. And Pariah, nothing like a restart on this game that closes the application and then have to restart the stream again. But we're still prepared for the feature race nonetheless.
I'm not surprised. It's typical with these games here, the global screens. Every year, new game, new glitches.
Yeah, new game, new glitches, but hopefully it's going to be the same old commentary for the feature race. Certainly. Mike saying, don't sabotage it, dry to inters. Yes, it will be dry to inters, apparently. Cam Rules was saying in the chat, apparently it was going to be around lap 15. I would have said, yeah, around that period, to be honest, out on track. Around lap 15, lap 16, normally see the rain. Jamie's saying it was apparently full wet, but Atlas Copo saying dry to inters, as long as it's on approximate, there will be some variations in the conditions. And, of course, that lap 15 that Cam Rules mentioned on about, that could not be true at all. It could have came earlier, it could have came later. That's just the nature of this game.
Sorry, I have my girlfriend here and she was talking to me, so I didn't get anything you said.
It's totally fine. Victoria's taking precedence, I think, over my commentary, which is clear. I don't blame you, to be honest. But yeah, just saying about there. Go on.
Okay, so basically, I can just tell that my girlfriend is not a Formula 1 fan, so when she saw that we were done, and then I was like, no, we have to start over again with a race. So yeah, it looks like she was about to throw my PlayStation out of the window. Yeah,
everyone's joining back up. Have you got an invite, by the way?
Yeah, I have. I'm on my way now.
Brilliant. I was going to send you over an invite there, but we are getting back going here. The lobby is going to be restarted, and obviously it is going to be given just as a steward's wrap-up. However, obviously with the stream that we had there, Storm saying thought it was the formation app, but no problem if it was 7 seconds early. Yeah, on my end, on the stream's end, it was 7 seconds early, so that is why Storm will be disqualified from sprint qualifying, meaning he will be joining at the back of the race, and he rejoined the lobby during qualifying. He will be allowed to participate in the main race, but obviously from the back of the field. So just to clarify on that, that's something that came through obviously from Tom there. But Storm, starting from the back of the field, one of our championship contenders, not the best sort of night so far for him.
He is not having the best night at the moment now. He's going to have to do an insane job in the race, 27 laps of racing. So he does have some time, but of course now we do know it is going to be rain halfway into the race. So will the driver safe it and go start on the medium? Or is someone going to gamble and do the soft tires till the rain? That's what I'm really excited about.
Yeah, looking through, Cam Rules saying thanks for the running commentary that's needed. Commentary's here, Cam Rules. Commentary is here. Looks like everything has been... I thought everything had been set up there for a second, but there we are. But, yeah, free tyre choice for everyone once again. I was going to say in the chat that I think the drivers should start obviously on the tyres that they basically went on the formation lap on, so we saw variations there, mediums and softs. They might necessarily go on that, but they might obviously necessarily change their strategy, and I think what Tom said there in the chat is perfectly fine. And obviously we have to go with what the stewards and the league directors obviously say. I mean, I'm a league director, so I shouldn't really be complaining, to be honest, but there we are. But coming into tonight, obviously, to remind you of the standings coming into tonight, after sprint qualifying, of course, Kermit, Storm and Jamie all fell by the wayside, and they all remain on the same amount of points as what they were on. So 221 points for Jamie, Storm in second on 210, Kermit in third on 191. Basically, the promise now is this: with sprint qualifying out the way, Jamie needs to outscore Storm by 22 points in this race to win the championship. No other way of looking at it. So he needs to win the race. Storm needs to finish with a 22-point advantage. He needs to finish 12th. Storm needs to finish 12th or lower. Jamie needs to win this race plus the fastest lap. And then obviously you will get that 22-point advantage. There's 11 points coming in tonight, and Pariah obviously now set up. They're both starting at the bottom end of the field though. Not necessarily a bad thing though, considering what we saw in F2 and F3 last night.
Yeah, at the moment this evening is looking to be a long evening, longer than expected, because of course we know with this sprint format it's a little bit longer, and now with Coma tries his best, it's going to take even longer.
It will. It will take even longer, and then we've got Jamie in charge of the lobby, and it's going to take even longer as well. But there we are. We have to obviously wait for the lobby to be... Oh, well, it's reset up, but obviously the grid order needs to be set and everything else like that. And hopefully will be the correct grid order as well. And remember, Jamie, if you are listening to the stream, Storm needs to start right at the back of the field after his disqualification. But I think everything is good to go, because I've seen him ready up. I think there's a chat message as well just gone out saying for the drivers to ready up. And indeed, we are readying up now for the Italian Grand Prix. It's the feature race. It's the good old 27 laps. And Jamie has left it on clear weather, I can see, on the left-hand side. Has he realised that?
I'm not totally sure about that one, so that could be a tricky or interesting one if it's going to be all clear now.
I think it might be. I think it might be. I'm going to check in the chat because I'm really not sure about what the conditions should be. But if that is clear weather, we're going to have to do the restart, surely, because it was going to be raining, what, halfway through the race?
Yeah. So let's hope it's just show the start of it, just the start of the race on the left there. As James said, it has to change, mate. It doesn't show both. So that could be the explanation, maybe.
Yeah, apparently there is. Apparently there is. It should really be on custom though, and it'll be on dynamic, I would think. So if this is it's blue skies and sunshine, exactly what we had, obviously, in the spring qualifying, and like obviously in the feature race that didn't start. But if we are gonna get rain, it probably won't arrive. It might just be a glitch though on the left-hand side. It might just be a glitch on the left-hand side where the weather obviously shows as clear, but then it obviously changes during the race. But surely if it was custom weather, it would have the question mark, because that's sort of like dynamic weather.
Yeah, it could be as well, so... I hope it rains. I love the rain, and especially commentating, and also driving in it. So if it rains, I could happily join the session and drive.
Yeah, I mean, I've literally just said in the chat, there's only one way to find out, and that's all of these guys going around out on track, and hopefully that the rain is going to come at some point in that race. But, here we go, formation lap is about to begin for the feature race. Hopefully it is going to be a first time start this time around. Zabrin Mike actually just stalls coming off the line there. Changes, though, in some of the strategy. Obviously being a free tyre choice. Roygaard, Mike, Camrule, set of soft compound size, Aventonchik, Axel, Salas and Passels, all in the top 10 on a set of softs. Jamie, Kermit, Danan, Yanzu and Storm in the bottom half of the field on a set of softs. Everyone else, though, only 4 drivers this time on a set of softs compared to, I think, 8 or 9 that we had in that first feature race start. Atlas, Copel, Sygate, Benjamin and Torrenheim, all on a set of medium compound tyres. And honestly, Pariah, this is one of these races where everything has now been mixed up. Drivers have now gone majority set of soft compound tyres to a set of mediums, but there's still that threat of rain, obviously, in the race. So, Atlas Copel, Sygate, Benjamin, Torrenheim, obviously thinking, rain's going to come later. Everyone else, rain's going to come sooner.
Yes, so originally there were 7 drivers starting on the mediums. 2 of them were Mike and Campbell's as well, who are now on soft tires. But as we now see, we only have 4 drivers on a medium.
We do indeed. So obviously there's been changes in those tyres for some of the guys out on track. there is a spinner coming through Lesbo 2, and that's Danan that is round. Coming through Lesbo 2, he's got the car back going again, not ideal for him down in the race. Of course, he basically DNF'd in that race. Storm, by the way, starting right down the back of the field, which is good to see, and everyone is in the same positions as they are. So Jamie knows what he's doing, which is really good to see. But right, we didn't actually go through the top 3 predictions in the first feature race start, which wasn't to be. We've got plenty of time to do it now. Who's your top 3?
Oh, I'm gonna go really bold. Jamie is gonna win this race. You heard it here first. Jamie on top of the podium. Then we're gonna have Mike stays P2, and the P3 I think will be open between many drivers. I think both Roygaard, Atlas Copo, Camels, Benjamin, all those could be fine for the P3. But P1 Jamie, P2 Mike, and then the P3 open for Roygaard, Camel, Atlas Copo, and Benjamin.
Interesting. I'm gonna go. Oh, who do I go for in this? I'm going to go Torenheim for the win. Unbelievably, down in 13th position. I'm going to go Ivan Tonchik second, and I'm going to go Mike for third. It's going to be a wild and wacky one, and here come the 5 red lights on for the feature race. Round 12 of the championship here in Italy, and it is... Lights out and away we go, and Atlas Copo gets a really good start off the line in the background there. Mike on the back of him in towards turn number 1. He gets a really bad start, and Cam Rules goes past him in towards turn number 1. The rest of the chicane. Ivan Tonchik's diving down the inside line. It's 3 into 1. Do not go. And Ivan actually gets around the outside of both of them. That's absolutely remarkable. Ivan doing his into 4th, but it costs everyone up. Benjamin has spun in the background. The shot there in the McLaren. Axel has also been set onto the grass just in the background there as well. Roy got there, and Atlas Copo's out the race. Atlas Copo out of the race, and that's coming through Cover Grande, and that's a VSC.
I saw that one. That looks like Passel pushed him into the wall. I'm not totally sure. But that looking at it, it was no, just a big no.
Torenheim's got damage as well after that carnage there. He's got right side plate damage on the car, just flicking through as well. I think Kermit might have... no, Kermit hasn't got any damage. Yanzu's fine. Storm... Has he got any damage? Just trying to flick on board with all of these guys. The camera angles are really not working for me. Danan has definitely got filming damage on the left side end plate, and Storm hasn't. So Storm is fine, I think, but we'll see, obviously, at the end of lap 1, when drivers decide to come into the pit lane. But we're got leads away. Cameral's in second, Mike in third. The front 3 have stayed as they are. Ivan Tonchik, though, I don't know how he managed to dive it down the inside line. I don't know how on earth they managed to actually keep that in some resemblance of a 3-wide scenario through the final corner. And I don't know how Ivan's now 4th. Ivan absolutely remarkable in terms of that move around the outside. We get back underway, and actually Ivan's been caught completely napping because Psychic goes past him on the run down towards turn number 1, and Ivan the Croatian is behind the Dutchman there of Psychic. Torenheim into the pit lane, Denand is in, and Benjamin continues on. But here comes Axel down the inside line in towards turn number 1. The Greek man on the outside of the Belgian, and he gets the job done. Lovely move by Axel, and he's through, and he's into 6th position. Campbell's obviously chasing down. Roy got there for the lead. The race. The Dane is under pressure, and under a lot of pressure actually, because here comes the Welshman. He tries to really spit out the fire on the inside line now. Cam Rules forces Roy nearly onto the grass there, but gets the job done. Nice driving there by Cam Rules. Through, and he's into the lead of the race. And I think it might be the first time he's ever led a race all season. Ivan there in 5th position as well, having a bit of a moment. But Cam Rules now leads the way. Roy in second, Mike in third. There's no doubting Cam Rules' pace. He's absolutely flying out on track.
Camel's being on having an amazing start there. At the race start, Mike had a lot of wheel spin. Camel's got him. Now Camel's up into the lead past Roygaard.
Storm's going side by side with Yanzu on the run down towards Ascari as well, just coming underneath the bridge there, and Yanzu holds on for 11th. The Finn on the just in front of the Brit there, but Storm there in 12th is on the back of him. Mike's now going to try, I think, on the back of Roygaard, coming in towards Parabolica. We saw this, of course, in the sprint qualifying, and we saw how close they ended up at the end of the race, and I think it's going to be a carbon copy replica of what we saw there, as Mike now absolutely explodes in terms of his ERS. He's using it up all the way down the straight, and this is clear 1-2 tactics out for ESW. Cam Rules takes the lead. Mike there into second. Roygaard there now down into third, and Esports Wales currently looking good. First and second there for Cam Rules and Mike. Roygaard there in fourth. Psychic there in fourth on that sort of medium compound size. Roygaard though is fighting back on the outside of Mike, coming through Cover Grande, but Mike will have the line and will hold the position for second.
Yeah, ESW driver, the Welsh Dragons, doing an amazing job now, and Cam rules have always wanted an interview with me and Buck or one of us, and I think he sees that today is his chance as Silas had a spin out of the second chicane here. Yellow flag, no safety car.
Axel.
So
Axel as well has gone around coming to Lesbo 1, just gone on the inside of the curb I think, and he's gone into the gravel, and Axel's trying to recover the car round. Storm however is getting the Anzu this time around, he's into 9th position. Jamie, only 2 spots ahead, and actually look at 7th, 8th and 9th, the championship protagonists are all in there. This is another yellow flag in Sector 2, and that is Axel round coming to Lesbo 1 once again, Lesbo 2 once again. Storm there though in 9th, second in the championship. Kermit there, 3rd in the championship, he's in 8th. Jamie there in 7th, leading the championship. All of them now within 2 seconds of each other, out on track. The championship protagonists coming to the fore. Another yellow flag in Sector 3, and Axel has spun, I think, for the 4th time so far. As Ivan now on the inside of Sidegate tries to get the job done, but Passel's going to be overtaken by Jamie in towards someone on the Westfield chicane. Red Bull outmasters the Belgian, and he's through, and he's into 6th. Nice move that by Jamie, and puts now Carl's width between himself and Kermit, who's in behind Passels.
Yeah, this is going great for Jamie now, and look at Ivan on Sidegate. He's going to set it on the inside. He doesn't. He backs out as there's another yellow flag. That's Axel in Parabolica. But what we see is that Mike struggling to stay within the DRS on Campbell, and also Roygaard struggling to keep it in the DRS on Mike, as Mike has had to use a lot of his ERS to stay within DRS. Campbell's also used a lot, and also Roygaard, he had a little bit more in his battery. But as we see, he's about to fall out of the 1 second on Mike.
Yeah, Roygaard's got more ERS actually than both Mike and Cam Rules combined. So, he's got around 50%. Mike's got 15%. Cam Rules there on 41. So now, Roygaard's slightly less than both of them combined. But he's got more ERS than both of them ahead. So that's what I'm trying to say there. Cam Rules still leading the way. Mike there in 2nd. They have been told to free drive and fight. So I wonder if Mike's going to go for the move in towards turn number 1 on his fellow Welshman. And he bet he will. There goes the McLaren on the inside line in towards turn number 1. And he gets the job done. He's through and he's into the lead of the race. But they've got to be careful though, because they've got to try and obviously pick this up right from the outset. Roygaard there in 3rd position can easily come back at them. He's saving up that ERS, he's saving his tyres as well. The Welshmen are now working together. If Mike and Cam Rules now work together and they pull out a gap of over a second, Roygaard I think has got no chance of keeping up.
Yeah, now it's tense in the top here as well, so Ivan getting up to P4, and now is that Jamie or Ivan? There's some with a mistake. I think it was Ivan there. I thought it was Jamie for a moment, and Axel here being left now. What I was saying is that I haven't noticed until I saw a Discord notification. Atlas Copo is out.
Atlas Copo is out of the race. Good spot, I didn't see that. That's why I think we got the VSC, if I'm not mistaken. And Axel is also out, coming through Lesbill too. Ivan and Sidegate, though, are side by side, coming through with Scary, and Jamie's going to try and join in the fight as well and gets the job done. So Jamie through needs into 5th. Ivan there into 6th position, and Ivan is really struggling on that sort of soft compound tyres. If I was him, I'd come in early, try and go another set of softs until the rain. If it is going to rain in this race, I'd go to the rain and then try and get that undercut, obviously, when that rain comes, because you're going to be on the better tyres then. Jamie, though, on the back of Sidegate. Sidegate, look at how much time he's lost. It was 3 seconds last up around, and now it's 6.5, because Jamie goes through, and he's into 4th position. So Jamie through and he's into 4th, and Roygaard is through and he's into 2nd, because Cameron just spun out the lead of the race. At a second, sorry.
He had managed to keep the P3, but now Jamie coming fast behind him as he spun out of turn 2 there. Really unlucky for him, was doing such a great race, but unfortunately only on lap 6 now, and he does have his amazing pace, but he will have some pressure from the drivers behind us. There's a long DRS train behind Jamie all the way down to Jansu P10.
Now, if I was, as Ivan Tonchik, I think, has spun or has made another mistake on the Delarod chicane and is now down in 9th position, so he's lost a load of ground in terms of that. Cameron's there in 3rd. If I was to offer one piece of advice to Cam, save up the ERS, but try and gain on both Roygaard and Mike, because he's been in no man's land. I'd also say to him, use Jamie up to your advantage. Use Sidegate up to your advantage, because they're 1.5 seconds behind. They're going to be quicker at this point compared to Cam Rules. Cam Rules obviously is going to try and pull away, but the Welshman, he is doing a good job. He's there in 3rd position. But on pace, in terms of all race pace, Jamie is quicker. And I would think he'd try to hold up that as Ivan now battling Storm on the inside line through Parabolica and gets the job done. So the Croatian through, and he's into 8th position. Storm though on the back in 9th position. Gonna try and run at him in towards turn 1. Do you know what? I think they're gonna run at Passels as well. Involved in this battle, and Jansu's not too far off the back either of Storm in towards turn 1, but he doesn't get the move done, and they all remain as they are as Ivan has to take avoiding action on the back there of Passels, who broke very early for the corner. Mike though leads the way. 2 seconds the gap. Roy got in second. Cam has got pace though. He's caught 5/10 of a second. He's there in 3rd position from that start. And Storm has got Ivan Tonchik once again coming through Cover Grande. And he's into 8th position as Ivan and Jansu there 9th and 10th position. And I've just seen a very funny image, by the way, on my Facebook page. Sunderland's obviously in the playoff final this weekend. There's a Sunderland fan in the Trafalgar Square fountain with a with a swimming hat and goggles on. So there you go.
Wow. Wonderful. Absolutely amazing.
The sort of people that you expect coming up, even the north of England, but there we are. Mike leads the way, Mike got in second, Cameron's there in third. Cam, though, Pariah, has got a lot of pace. He's shown another 5/10 of a second there, pulled in on Roy Gone. They're not really acting on each other, but he has got pace. He's pulling away from Jamie, and Sygate's in behind. On that fresher set of mediums, he's going to be coming into play immediately.
Yes, and what we see now is that Roygaard needed the DRS to stay on the back of the Mikey Carroll because he doesn't have DRS and he's now 2.5 seconds behind as we got Storm into the pit there, so he will put on a fresh set of mediums, and that is an interesting one if it's gonna rain later.
He probably thinks that it's going to be clear weather to the end of the race. I don't blame him, to be honest. He may as well try and take a bit of a risk. Ivan, by the way, just been overtaken by Jansu for 8th position. Ivan must have some sort of front wing damage on that car. He's really struggling. He just doesn't look eyed up in terms of the setup whatsoever. I mean, it was similar in America a couple of weeks ago, and he was leading the race then, and then he just fell off completely in terms of the pace, and that's exactly what we're seeing tonight here in Italy, here in Monza. However, oh, and he's in the wall! Ivan Tonchik in the wall as soon as I say that's a commentator's curse and a half. That should be a safety car, and it is. Safety car deployed, and Ivan did not look at all comfortable. As I say there, exactly the same as America. He dropped off in terms of the pace, and he dropped off too much in terms of the pace in the wall on the outside curb out of Ledsville 2, and Ivan is out of the race, and that's the first safety car of this race as Mike is in pits from the lead. Oh, and he picked up another 5-second penalty!
Camel's in as well. Mike then not practiced on the pit entry so much, it looks like.
It's almost as if he goes like a mile an hour above the speed limit. He might want to have a look into that because I saw that and I didn't think that was over the limit at all. So Mike might want to have an investigation there in terms of his 5-second penalties coming out the pit lane there. But he leads the race. That is crucial for him. Roy got in second. Cam Rules set of softs. Passels set of hards.
Yeah, I think that Campbell's, of course, is going to wait for the rain here. But I'm surprised there's so many drivers picking on the mediums, and that makes me wonder, when is this rain coming?
Is it going to come? Is this race going to come? Because majority of the guys going on mediums, that signals out to me as if we're going to have a clear race right to the end. And if that's the case, and we get to the end of the race, this race technically shouldn't really count.
That's true, because it is supposed to rain. That in the original law it was supposed to. And Jamie was told to put on rain as well for this race, about halfway through it. So really we're seeing so many drivers on mediums and even passed on hard. Maybe if it's gonna be rainy, maybe they haven't noticed it. I don't know. But what I see, or what it looks like, is that when we started the race, it was clear weather, and right now it looks like it's light cloud because there are a little bit of clouds now in the sky. So it is changing a little bit, but not that much.
Yeah, not that much at all. I mean, on lap 10, about, what, 10, 15 minutes, anywhere between that into the race. And if there's any chance of rain, it was going to come earlier, like Cam Rules said, around lap 15. It should be clouding over in the next 3 laps, you would think. And then the rain will come, as soon as it clouds over, or stops clouding over, and then it is fully cloudy, out on track. And if that's not the case, then obviously we have to come into question what this race may look like. Are we going to restart this race if needs be? Probably not tonight, but will we start this race in the future? Because Storm is into the pit lane. I have a feeling he's going to go set of softs here. Yeah, he will. Set of softs for Storm. Not surprised on that entirely. And I think he's been told on his radio, there's rain in 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah. But yeah, you know, of course the championship could be decided today. We have talked about that. And for me, I really hope so, because well, normally I want the championship to go to the last race. But I can't commentate the last race next week, so I wanted to be decided today. And with the championship talking here, I could tell. You told me you saw the end of it on Wednesday, the championship decider I got to commentate, and I just have to mention that Abu Dhabi, the championship leader, been disqualified because of a glitch, and the second driver number 2 in the championship, he's 15 points behind. He's leading the race after a late safety car. He went on from P4 to P1, having a comfortable lead. He had one task, that is to finish the race. Last lap, this is, of course everyone knows the Abu Dhabi circuit, the Yas Marina one. He comes into the second last corner, takes a little too much curb on the outside out of the second last corner, takes too much roll spin, into the wall, crashes out of the race, and loses the championship. Last lap, last corners. I think that's the most painful thing I've ever watched.
Yeah, it was painful for me because I only tuned in on the final lap of the race as well, and it was so painful for me. I didn't think anything of it, and then I heard about 4 points on the stream, and I thought, he must be the championship leader, and he's just spun coming to the final couple of corners. Anyways, yes, though, back to the action here in TTML F4. We are underneath the safety car, but the safety car is coming in this lap, and that means Mike is not hanging around whatsoever. Coming through Parabolica, he's the virtual Bermalander, but not for long because he wants to try and get on with things, because he's got Cam Rules on that sort of soft banner tyres, and look at how the field has just been split up once again. It's a really good restart by Mike, perfect restart by all further down the field as well. Sygate's on the back of Jamie in towards turn number 1. At this moment in time, Jamie not doing enough to wrap up the championship here. Sygate though tries to have second of it down the inside line and towards turn 1, tries to get the job done. Jamie's left up on the inside of the curb. There's a car park in the background. Passels has been spun. I think Torenheimer's got caught up in that as well, and Silas also got caught up in that. So Passels sent round. Kermit there and Jamie going side by side though. 2 title contenders, 5th and 6th position, and Kermit there through, and he's into 5th. Jamie there into 6th. I'm not sure if he's got damage on that car. Denan on the back of Benjamin nearly goes into the back of him, actually in towards the Delaroche chicane, but doesn't get the move done. Torenheim though got caught up in that incident. I think Storm got caught up in that incident as well.
Yeah, Silas has lost his whole front wing. As Denan and Benjamin are fighting through the Lesmo corners here. So with Alfa Romeos have had a poor start here.
Cam Rules was looking on the back of Roygard as well and towards Ascari. Look at how much quicker he is on that set of soft combander tyres coming out of Ascari. This should be easy on towards Parabolica, but he's got to remain on terms of that deployment. He's got to hold that deployment until he goes into Parabolica, and then he's got to try and defend that position on the exit. But lovely move there by Cam Rules. Roygard though tries to cut up the inside on the switchback, and there's a little bit of side-by-side contact coming up the corner. And Roygard and Cam Rules now side-by-side. They've got to give each other space down the straight in towards turn 1, but because of that disadvantage, Cam Rules had out the final corner. He has to try and fight back in towards turn number 1. Surely on the tyres though, you'd think he'll get this move done, and he has, beautifully on the brakes. Cam Rules through, and he's into 2nd. ESW resume their dominance at the front. 1st and 2nd for Mike and Cam Rules. Cam Rules now on the fresh softs. I think this is going to be an easy switcheroo, and Mike can just defend off Roygard and let Cam Rules escape away.
Yeah, the ESW driver showing amazing pace tonight. Of course, Mike does have that 5-second time penalty, which is going to be a really painful one for him. Sygate as well, also right on the back here of Roygard, before we have a 1.7 second gap down to Kermit in P5.
Yeah, 1.6 seconds now the gap. Kermit losing that time because Sygate's obviously on that fresh softs. Denan on the back of Yanzu further down the field, looking quite close, 7th and 8th position, down the curve of El Serradio, and then in towards, of course, Ascari. But lap 13 about to begin, so Mike that leads the way with that 5-second penalty, as Perez alluded to. Still on board though with Yanzu and Denan. And just about, Danan keeps that in a straight line there. But there's the penalties. 5 seconds for Mike, 5 seconds for Torenheim. They're the only penalties actually picked up so far tonight. I thought we would have seen a lot of 3-second penalties here tonight, but obviously that is not the case. Cameral's on the back of Mike. Would be quite easy if he had the DRS down the straight. He set the fastest lap of the race. 22.552 is the personal best so far and the fastest lap of everyone so far. But I think he's just content of sitting there in second position, getting dragged along by Mike. Does Mike feel... If you were in Mike's shoes, Pariah, would you feel confident of pulling out a 5-second gap to Roygaard? Because I think Mike has got a good amount of pace.
I'm not totally sure, but as I say, we do know we have a lot of pace in him, really good pace, so maybe.
Yeah, Roygaard 1.5 seconds behind Cam Rules now, and Cam's obviously on the back of Mike, and this should be an easy switcheroo. As I say, you would imagine between them both that they are going to try and obviously enact the switch, possibly down and towards Ascari, but Mike leads the way, Cam Rules there in second, Roygaard in third. Is the switch going to come? Inside line? No, Cam Rules wants to try and hold on for second. Sygate though gets through and he's into third. So that is good news for the ESW guys, and even better news because Roygaard's just picked up a penalty. They're in fourth position.
Yeah.
Sygate there through and he's into third though.
We talked about it one lap ago about that no one had a 30-second time penalty. Roygaard fixed that for us.
He has. The Dane carrying the unlucky commentators, I think, here tonight. Oh, and he nearly spins out of Parabolica as well. And Cam Rules, obviously, and Mike are now going to fight down and towards Turn 1. They've been given the free rein here by the ESW team. And Cam Rules pulls as far to the right-hand side as possible to defend the inside line and gets the job done. He's into the lead, and Sygate holds the position as well. And he's there in third position. The front two, though, have got to be careful. They've got to work together now at this point. Mike there in second. What does he do? Does he hold up Sygate and hope, obviously, that Roygaard has got no pace there on that set of mediums? Or does he try and force Cam Rules, maybe into a mistake, and then they all group up again? And it looks as if, as Mike has just made a mistake, it looks as if that group of 4 is now becoming apparent.
It is. It sounds like they lost a lot of Cam Rules, so it could also be that Cam Rules showing his also pace that we know he has tonight. I think Cam through the season at the start he struggled, and then
Jamie.
More. Oh, Jamie.
Jamie on the back of Kermit down and towards Ascari, gets the job done. He's into fifth. He defends the inside line for his life as well. And Danan has got to get a really good run out on them both, possibly in towards Parabolica. But Jamie through and he's into fifth. Oh, and there was a sideways move on that. I think Yanzu ran wide there in the Williams. Just keeps the car in the straight line though.
Yeah, look at Kermit now showing his car on the inside of Jamie, and now Dinand as well getting into this fight here with them. But what I was basically saying was that Camels have just been improving this season, each race being higher and higher in the top. Ooh. And now we see Jamie losing his position to Dinand here. Jamie doesn't want to give it up, he's still there, but it just works there, giving each other base.
Just about. I think there would have been another change of underwear, I think, for one of them too, if they had made contact there. But Danan there in 6th position, Jamie there in 7th, and Kermit there in 5th position gets the move done, obviously, and Danan, that is crucial for him in terms of his championship hopes. And actually, he's just made a mistake himself, because Danan is right on the back, coming through Lesbo 1, and then, of course, in towards Lesbo 2, and he'll eye this up, down and towards Ascari once again. And Danan, surely going to get this move done. He's got 70% of VOS. He may as well try and go for the move now. If not now, when will Danan go? And he's into the back of Kermit, who comes across on the right-hand side line. Not sure, really, what Kermit was thinking. I know you defend the line there, but that was a little bit too late for my liking. Kermit there in 5th, Danan in 6th, and now Jamie has got a really good run on Danan, and it's now going to put Jamie back into 6th position. All of that spawned from Kermit coming across in Danan.
That was an interesting one, as Kermit almost loses the car there, Parabolica, and it's going to make it easy for Jamie and Dinant to get past him. Maybe Dinant is close as well now. Jamie getting past Dinant, he's using the slipstream, 345 km/h here down towards turn 1. Absolutely insane speed on these cars.
Yeah, beautiful move. 345 kilometres an hour, by the way, back 220 in towards turn number 1. And Jamie Thuney's into 5th, Danan into 6th, and Kermit into 7th. And I have a feeling I'm probably going to get shouted out by this for the end of the stream, but I'm going to say it anyways. I think it's a little bit of karma, possibly from that little bit of a crossover between Kermit and Danan the last lap around. Danan now through into 6th and is ahead of him. And I think if it wasn't for that crossover, obviously, down and towards Ascari, Danan probably would have got that position. So, everything has worked out in the end, which is good to see. As Mike is on the back of Cam Rules, down and towards Ascari, not getting the move done for the lead of the race. And Pariah, it still looks like we're going to have a dry race.
Yeah, I was about to mention it, because we're over halfway through the race, and I'm looking at the sky here, and it is a little bit more clouds now, but still no rain.
I think if it's clouding over at the rate it is now, I think we're going to see rain at lap 19, lap 20. Something like that.
Yeah.
As I said earlier on in the stream, Mike, though, is going to go for Cam Rules. Again, the instruction has been given for these two to fight as their heart's content, and Mike is through, and he's into the lead of the race. And Sygate, if he's not careful, might get onto the back of Cam Rules, be backed off in towards turn number 1. Danand on the back of Jamie now, in towards turn 1 at the Westfield chicane. And Danand is through, cuts across right up the split there, and he's through. And he's into 5th position very nicely there indeed. Jamie there in 6th, obviously. At this moment in time, as I say, 22-point advantage he needed. It is only going to be a minimal points gain for Jamie, because Storm is in 12th. Jamie, though, needs to win, and he's 5 positions short of doing that. And to be honest, Pariah, he doesn't look like he's going to do it. So, championship battle looks like it's going to go final round of the season.
I think so, yeah. Jamie, it looks like he's struggling a little bit with the pace here, and when he gets past Dinand, he doesn't build up a gap. Dinand gets back in the next lap, so looking like it can go to the next week there at Brazil for the season finale, as Jamie is in Dinand's gearbox there in Tascari, and I think Jamie running a little bit wider may have picked up a warning. Gotta be careful with those one. But what we can't think about is he do have 2 drivers in front of him with penalties also.
Yeah, both as well. Roygod's on 3, but Mike, and more importantly, he's on 5. But the gap is more than 5 seconds at this point between the leader and where Jamie is. Cameron's on the inside line, backs off in towards turn number 1. Clouds are beginning to build over the circuit, and Jamie is beginning to build momentum for 5th position. Job done, and he's through, and he's into 5th. They're swapping like a yo-yo. And Danan there in 6th position, Kermit there in 7th. Might get a good run out of the Westfield chicane, but he doesn't get the move done there on the back. And he's got 40% of ERS. ERS, by the way, if you're new to the streams here in TTML, as Danan is on the back of Jamie. Danan has got 65% of ERS. That is the amount of energy he can use up at any one point out on track. Jamie has got 40% of ERS. So the more that they use this bit energy, especially down the straights here in Italy, that will be the case. But the more that they save up, especially into the braking zones, the more that they save up on the braking zones, they can use that obviously to deploy that energy as they go through the race. Jamie, though, 5th position, they've lost a second in 2 laps.
Yeah, losing a lot of time here, and I'm surprised the rain hasn't arrived yet. Of course, we started with clear weather, as we've had a yellow flag. Tornado spin in the second chicane, backing up into the wall there, and could have given him some rear wing damage. Maybe want to be careful with that one on this game. But yeah, we are seeing more clouds in the sky now, so maybe very soon it could be some rain.
Do you know what? I have a feeling it's going to be last lap rain. It just comes on the final lap of the race. You watch, it'll happen. Danan on the back of Jamie. Going to get the job done now and into turn 1 once again. So they swap over again for 5th position. Danan through into 5th, Jamie in 6th. Kermit there in 7th. Camerals again on the back of Mike. But yeah, rain doesn't look imminent. If I've got to be honest, I would be fooled if that is the case. But I have a feeling the rain is either not going to come, or it's going to be final lap of the race, and Jamie has got his slots wrong.
I think we're going to have a scenario of Sochi 2021 as Campbell's have crashed out in towards left Mo 2.
I was on board with that as well. I was on board with that, and I didn't see it.
Oh, that's unlucky for the Dragon here. Doing such a strong race, and it's out of race, and no safety car.
No safety car. Jamie back through, and he's into 4th. Now on Danan, down in towards the score. He gets the job done. Danan leans on him slightly. But Jamie Thurney's into 4th. Yeah, Cameron's on the inside curb. That is classed as off track. Don't really know why that is classed as off track, to be honest. But Cameron's out of the race. Can only imagine he's got caught on the outside curb and he spun the car into the wall. I saw that as well on stream, unfortunately. But I was too busy looking down my iPad and trying to refresh the stream. I didn't see it. So I don't know what happened there in terms of that. I can only have a feeling. You guys know better than me, though. I think it was outside curb, spin into the wall, and that's what we've seen there as Denander's on the back of Jamie, and Pariah, it's beginning to look a little bit cloudy.
Yeah, it's getting really darker here now. We're on lap 20 out of 27. I saw in the Discord, Campbell's, he wanted the rain, so if the rain is about to arrive in 1 or 2 laps,
look at Denand!
It's going to be really sad. Denand now on the outside of Jamie, he's going to get the move here. Oh, Jamie tries to break late and keep defending on it. But did not get caught. What an overtake there from the Alpine driver.
Really good indeed. Mike leads the way though, Sygate in 2nd. That 5-second penalty for Mike is actually beginning to look a lot better because Rogard there in 3rd position. Obviously he's got a penalty. Denand's 5 seconds behind. Mike is on for a podium, however you look at it. Sygate's there in 2nd, going for the lead of the race. Has he got the pace though on those tyres to obviously try and lap it up? We have now got what will be 6 laps to go as Jamie gets the job done, and Denand around the outside coming out of Ascari, and Kermit's now going to lap that up as well, and he's now throwing his into 5th. I didn't see that, to be honest, but it looked like Denand got caught up on the curb on the inside of Jamie, and that's why Jamie's throwing his into 4th.
Yeah, they were going side by side into Ascari. I was almost with Kermit right behind them, so I saw a little bit of it. Scary moment there. I thought Denand was going to spin. It looked like it.
Coming on the back of Jamie, 2 title contenders, 1st and 3rd in the championship, about to go side by side, in towards the Westfield chicane at turn 1. Jamie's gone too deep, Kermit tries to look at around the outside, beautiful move by Kermit, that is how you do it, around the outside of turn 1, beautiful move, he's thrown his into 4th, Jamie went too deep, and Kermit absolutely laps that one up, he'll be smiling from one side of his cheek to the other, beautiful move by Kermit, he's thrown his into 4th, and that is how you respect each other out on the track.
Denand there, I was going to say it as with that overtake from Kermit, Denand got into the back of Jamie, and now he gets into the back of Jamie as well, and this time he spun around.
Yeah, so unfortunate. Kermit though through and he's into 4th position, Jamie there in 5th, the Red Bull on the back of the Mercedes. This is going to be a sense of deja vu between these two. Look at the speed that Jamie's carrying in towards Ascari. Not going to get the move done. He'll wait, I think, until turn number 1 once again. But this battle looks like it could be the one to watch. Storm in 10th position at this moment in time. Jamie in 5th. Not enough at this moment in time in terms of the points. You can do the maths yourselves. But Jamie is scoring, I think, 15 points out on track. Storm is scoring 10. It's a 5-point gain for Jamie. Means the gap is 16 points as it stands. If it was to stay as it is in this race, 16 points going into the final race of the season as Jamie comes charging once again. Kermit in towards turn 1, but he doesn't get the move done, and Mike is side by side with Sygate coming through cover Grande, and now on the inside line the Dutchman will try and lap this up on the inside line. The Welshman on the outside line though, Sygate tries to put his nose in there and he has to back off, and Mike holds the lead of the race, and I think Mike made a mistake there, Pariah.
I think so, yeah, but think about these tires for Sygate, 12 laps old. Same with Benjamin as well. These drivers are probably starting to feel these tires a lot now, and they need the rain to arrive as fast as possible.
And I'm looking at Roygard there in 3rd and thinking, he's on for the race win here. And I'm going to say that now. 5.5 laps to go, 3.4 seconds the gap. Jamie's just picked up a penalty, which is crucial for him.
It's raining!
And it is raining. Oh, lap 22 out of 27. And if the rain comes down hard enough, Jamie's got the move done on Kermit in towards Ascari. Everything's kicking off now. Mike Thune still in the lead. Sygate in 2nd. Roygard has got pace. If he tries to get through the corners at one piece, Roygard could perhaps win this race, as I think Sygate's just made a major mistake coming out of Parabolica there. But the rain now falling for Riot. 5 laps to go. Is it going to wet enough for Inters before the end of this race? I have a feeling that might not.
That was what I was going to say, is that who is going to pit and who is going to try to gamble and stay out as Kermit passes Jamie once again off the P4 now. But here, we have 5 laps of racing. Will anyone pit and take a chance on the intermediates? And will anyone take the chance and do like Lando Norris did in Russia, who didn't go well for him, we do have a McLaren in the lead here, so will we see Mike do a Lando Norris?
Maybe, I hope not, because it's Mike at the end of the day. But looking at the track surface, just coming through the Les Mills, it looks a little bit greasy coming through there already. This track does not take long to get wet. And trust me when I say this, Sygate's on the back of Mike, though. He's absolutely storming down the inside line. Denander's spun coming through the Della Roger chicane, and it's a safety car. Oh my goodness me, it's a safety car at the worst point of this race.
It is, because now the drivers will have to think about, oh my god, am I gonna pit, or what are we gonna do? Like, oh my, this is a really bad situation, and I've been in this one before, and I hate these situations when there's a safety car right after it started raining, and it's a really typical one in league racing that after the rain starts, someone crashes and there's a safety car with just a few laps going. Mike is in here, and the top driver shot into the pit.
I'd say enters. I'd say enters.
Yeah, enters.
I would say enters. Green wall tyres, I think, for Mike. Just seeing. Yeah, green wall tyres. Oh, Mike is actually, yeah, he's picking up a 5-second penalty as well. He served that up in the pit lane, and he's now behind Sygate. Roy got into the pit lane as well. They're all going on inters. Even looking at the pit lane, it looks wet. It looks wet enough. Is anybody going to gamble going dry tyres, though? Now. Surely not.
Look in the track. You see the small drips there, or the small, the small drips there, basically, and that's a sign of it is time. It's going to start raining more now, so you have to pit now. Oh, this is going to be so interesting at the end.
Brace yourselves, is what I'm going to say. Brace yourselves out on track. Torenheim has stayed out on a set of soft compounded tyres. I think that's the wrong call, but you never know. One for trying and all that.
It is wet here on the track.
Yeah, Torenheim's just said he spun through turn 1. So yeah, it looks really wet coming through out on track. Safety car though out on track. Are we going to get 2 laps worth of race and a potentially no DRS? Or are we going to get 3 and possibly only 1 lap of DRS? But looking at the track, Pariah, it looks inters.
Yeah, sorry for the interruption there. It is intermediates now, and I think the safety car will go in on lap 25. That's the latest it can go.
Silas has came in for a set of softs.
Oh.
Interesting. I mean, he's right down the back of the field, and I thought he was going to go straight on a turn 1 there, to be honest. But Silas already, you can see, even with the traction, he's losing time already out on track, and he's under the safety car. That is not a good sign. It is Inter's definitely out on track. Torenheim's done the wrong thing. Could cause chaos for Benjamin, Passel, Storm, maybe even Silas down at the back of the field as well. But Sygate holds the lead of the race. Mike there in second. Mike, remember, 5-second penalty now served back in this race.
He's back in the race now. And I think that's one of the reasons he also wanted to pit now, to get that 5-second away. And he comes at P2. He will have 2 laps to get past Sygate, but there won't be any DRS. So it is going to be really hard for him. He will have to find the right moment and use the right amount of DRS, or try to pressure Sygate into a mistake. Maybe brake late into turn 1 or the second chicane, because then you will get a bad exit and then you can try and overtake. I think that's one of the best one, because even though with slipstream and ERS on the straights here, it is going to be hard.
Yeah,
so
definitely. Mike
will have to force Sygate into a mistake.
Yeah, I think Sygate, honestly, he does often make mistakes in these conditions. I've commentated on him plenty enough in these conditions to know he does make mistakes out on track in these intermediate conditions. Mike also does. Remember America 2 weeks ago? He made a mistake and he was at the race. So Mike is also prone to that. Roy God, I would say, is probably the cannier of the 3. I think he's there in 3rd. He's there on sufferance. Obviously he's got a penalty, but he's obviously there to potentially still win this race. Even if Sygate and Mike make mistakes, Roy God could be there to win this race. Safety car's in this lap. Silas has just came in the pit lane. He's got no chance catching up to the back of the safety car queue. So Sygate leads the way and is now the virtual Burt Marlander. And I think for the first time tonight, Paride, we're going to see a relatively slow safety car restart. Saying that though, they're going at 110 mile an hour.
Exactly. Yeah. So
He's not going already, is he?
Now.
He just wants to get on with it. Sygate wants to get on with it.
Yeah.
It's 2 laps. He may as well. He's going to try to string out the field, but he knows Mike has got the pace. That is what I think he's thinking at this point. He knows Mike has got the pace, and we're going to see now the safety car restart coming to fruition as Sygate now rolls down the straight. Mike alongside him. It's a really good restart again, and to be fair, everyone has got a really good restart as well. But Sygate leads, and Mike actually is caught flat-footed because Roy God's out on the outside line. Did say he might be the candidate with a 3, and speaking of 3, it's 3 wide on the background. Kermit, Yanzu, and Jamie going side by side there as well, slightly. Kermit, though, he's into 4th. Bit of caught up on the curb there. Roy God gets to the lead of the race. So on Sygate in the side by side now coming through Cover Grande. The Aston Martin and the Ferrari. 2 laps to go in this race. Benjamin, I think, has spun in the background of Sharp, but Roy God there on the back of Sygate, still side by side. In toward the Della Rocha chicane. Sygate much later on the brakes. Has overcommitted, I think, into the curb. He bounces over the curb. Nearly sent spinning, and now Roy God's going to get the free position. Roy God through, and he's into the lead of the race. Can he pull away by 3 seconds now in the final 2 laps of this race? Has to wait and see. But Roy God now through, and he's into the lead. Sygate in second, Mike in third. Both of them made mistakes, and now Roy God is wanting to try and exploit those mistakes.
Like I said, right now he is going to drop down to P5, considering Jamie is been 3 seconds, but he does have a penalty. Jazzu P5, 2.4 seconds behind 2.5.
Oh, look at
increasing that gap. He's increasing the gap insanely to Sygate, and I don't think Rogan can take the victory, but he's in for a podium here.
1 second the gap.
2.1 second to Kermit. That's the gap we gotta look at, because that's P4. So that's the gap. He needs to get a 3 second gap to Kermit.
They've all used up their deployment. Mike's actually not used up much deployment on that lap, and now it goes into the final lap there in third, trying to chase down Sygate. Jamie's going to go side by side, I think, with Yanzu down towards turn number 1 as well, but Roy God's already got a second lead over Sygate. I wouldn't be surprised if that gap it just extends over the race. Jamie, though, so late on the brakes. Beautiful move on the fin. Yanzu there down into 6th. Jamie through and he's into 5th. He's mastering these conditions, but Roy God now 1.6 seconds clear of Mike. 1.7. Gap is still increasing. This is on for a podium possibly for Roy God. He needs to pick up the pace though now in towards the Della Rocha chicane. He needs to treat these corners like a qualifying lap in the wet conditions. Look at the gap now. 1.3, 1.4 seconds nearly, and Roy God is on, maybe even to win this race, you know. Not even counting this out at all. Coming through Lesmo 2, Roy God leads the way. 1.5 seconds the gap. Sygate's made another mistake, and now the gap extends to 1.8 seconds. Roy God is still on for
Mike
this.
As well struggling. Kermit 3.5 seconds behind. He got Kermit now, but he can maybe go for that P2 now, and maybe that's victory as well. Look how much he's increasing that gap. It is 2.2 seconds.
It's not enough.
It is dropping. It is 1 corner. I don't think he can get that 1 second on side in 1 corner.
He's run out of deployment. He's run out of deployment as well, and Roy God comes through the final corner. Another lap, I think he would have won. Roy God coming around the final corner here at Parabolica on the run to the line. It's going to be a podium, but Roy God takes the win in Italy. Sygate, though, takes the win. Overall, Mike there in second, Roy God there in third. Another lap, that would have been different for sure. Kermit there in fourth, Yanzu there in fifth, Passels in sixth. How on earth has Storm outscored Jamie in this? He's seventh in the end. Nearly overtook Passels on the run to the line as well. Jamie there in eighth position, Benjamin in ninth, and we wait for Torenheim obviously and Salas. Torenheim I think is in AI mode if I'm not mistaken. It's just Salas that we're waiting on to complete. Sygate though wins, Mike in second, Roy God in third. That was drama at its finest in Italy. Brilliant racing, and Roy God there third position. Another lap pariah and another second, that would have been completely different.
It will be a Kartoffel celebration in Denmark with 1 more lap to go. The fact that even with 2 laps of racing, it was only 1 second behind Sygate with a penalty. So he did get that incredible gap there at the end, and I know we got drivers picking up many positions, but if I was to say drivers today out of the sprint and this one, to be honest, I have to give it to Roy God, because in the sprint as well, he did an amazing job. I think he was in pole position here at the end there, and even with a penalty, like we've seen him doing amazing pace this year, kept on the back of Camels and Mike at the start with the DRS train, we're fighting with him, and even with a penalty, he almost won a race.
He did almost
So
win
for
that
me,
race.
I gotta give a drive today to him.
Yeah, Roy got definitely driver of the day, I think, from my perspective as well. Just more consistent, I think, out on track than any other driver there. Obviously, took spring qualifying. He would have took that feature race when, and do you know what? He could have even possibly picked up the fastest lap of the race as well. Come the end of that, that was incredible drama though. Sygate takes the win. I think that's his first win of the season as well, if I'm not mistaken, for Sygate.
He had lost victories due to penalties, but tonight he got it due to a penalty as well. So finally, the luck were on his side.
Karma is back with him, I think, for Sygate. Mike there in second drove well. Roy got there in third. Kermit in fourth actually gains more points than Storm and Jamie. Three-way battle into the final round of the season, of course. Yanzi there in fifth, Passels in sixth, Storm in seventh, Jamie in eighth, Benjamin in ninth, Torenheim ran off the top 10, then Sardas in 11th, Danan in 12th, Camrules 13th. Obviously, these are the DNFs: Danan, Camrules, Ivan, Axel, and Atlas Copper was out on lap 1, which is really unfortunate, and that's why we got that early VSC out on track. Sygate, apparently, Kermit is saying thanks for the podium, Sygate. So I wonder if there's going to be a steward's report put in for Sygate potentially out on track. If I was to think of anything, maybe pit entry or pit exit, I would think, rather than anything. Because I didn't see Sygate do anything really out on track that was warranting any penalty.
Yeah, and we also can't forget about, I think it was Kermit, Storm, Jansu, and I think it was Benjamin maybe picking, or I'm not sure, there was one other driver, then there are 4 drivers picking up a lot of positions. So of course, especially the Mercedes driver, they did an amazing job with the position climb and stuff. But as we agreed on, Roygaard is the driver today with that performance. Yeah, just can't give in to someone else, even with all the position climbs.
Yeah, definitely so. I'm not sure if we want to do interviews, by the way, tonight, because I know we have ran over quite a bit tonight.
Yeah, I don't think I have time for that now.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. If you want to go, I will go as well. Yeah, we'll not do any interviews tonight. I think it's probably a little bit unfair on the drivers. But what I will do, though, is capture the thoughts from that race from the top 3 and then bring it to you, of course, next week. Because more than likely, I'm going to be filling in for Pariah next week for TTML F4 once again. Buck, I'm sure, will be joining me alongside in the commentary box for that. And I'm sure it's going to be a 3-way battle between Jamie, Storm, and Kermit. Not a one to watch out for out on track, because it's going to be fantastic to watch out for. But obviously, it is your final race here, Pariah, on League Racing TV. You've got to the end of this final race. And to be honest, I think this is going to be a really emotional time, because I'm going to now pay tribute to you. And it's not the best thing to do on the stream, but yeah. Obviously, you've been an absolute avid part, I've got to say. No matter as a commentator, a division admin, a steward, whatever role you've had, a driver as well. You will be missed, I'm sure, here in TTML, and obviously going forward, life is more important than anything else, and I'm sure everyone in the comment section, everyone in our community as well, does want to wish you well in your future endeavours, and I'm sure you're going to make a roaring success of whatever is going to come out of your life. So, best of luck, Pariah, and I have to capture your final thoughts on what was a crazy Italian Grand Prix.
Yeah, thank you for this. Let's stop it there. This is not the time for me to cry. But yeah, the race itself, it was amazing. Amazing race. My last one here. And of course, I gotta say, I'm happy to see one of my NSR drivers being on the top there, almost getting that victory as well on at the P3. I'm a little bit happy there. And as I just also want to thank you, everyone else in TTM, all of the drivers here in F4, all the league directors, and especially a big thanks to the league directors and Kermit, as I don't have to get into details, but they gave me a new chance in TTM as a driver, and it's been amazing being back driving here as a full-time driver as well. And even though with barely any practice, fighting for podiums, I've enjoyed this so much. I've been here since 2019. I think it was the end of 2019 I joined first at season 17 of TTL in League 2. I remember, and yeah, it's been an incredible time I've had in this league, and I'm gonna miss it a lot. I'm gonna miss you, James, especially with all the great commentaries on me and commentaries with me. So yeah, I'll make sure to watch the season finale. Try to stick in on the stream next week, and hopefully for the future, sticking on some of the streams and comment as well.
Yeah, that would be so nice, I think, obviously, and I will offer you always, the door is always open here in TTML. If everything doesn't go your way in life, and if anything just goes completely pear-shaped, we are always here to try and back you up, and we are always here, of course, with that open door policy of who is putting in. Legend saying who was cutting onions. I was shutting my curtains, by the way. If you heard a background noise there, that was me shutting my curtains, because it got very dark in here. I thought it would get to the end of the race before I had to shut the curtains, but there we are. So if you heard that, I apologise. But obviously, we go into TTML F1 on Sunday night. It is, of course, myself and Pepsi Freak taking to the action, of course. And I cannot wait to bring in the action, of course, here in Italy. Hopefully the driving standards, as I say, F4 was better than F2 by an absolute mile. I've got to say that just first and foremost. But F1, pinnacle, are we going to see Jensen wrap up as champion, or is Tom going to come back and bite him where it really hurts most? But Jensen can win the championship going into the final round of the season, of course, in Brazil. More action to come, of course, next week as well. TTML Club Series are going to be live on Twitch. Graham Chappell and Conti taking to the action on Monday. And then, of course, we've got the return of EML, Premier, League 1 and League 2. League 1 and League 2, of course, 7 PM UK time. League 2 on YouTube. League 1 on Twitch. And then, of course, Premier, 8:30 UK time, and that is on Twitch as well. And then we return...
I have to say something.
Go on.
Yeah, of course, I just remembered, this is my last appearing as a commentator, but I'm gonna drive the EML on Wednesday, so you will see me there actually in League 2. That will be the totally last point for me, as I'm gonna drive my favorite track, Abu Dhabi. Ooh, looking forward to it.
Is it Abu Dhabi? Oh, I thought it was Brazil.
No, it's Abu Dhabi. It's Abu Dhabi in EML.
It's Brazil.
Still in,
oh yeah, EML, yeah, Abu Dhabi, yeah. Yeah, I got completely confused. I'm commenting on Abu Dhabi tomorrow. It's just thrown me off completely. We're getting towards the end of the game cycle, as you can probably tell. But yeah, Thursday night as well, TTML F2 and F3. One live on Twitch, of course, that's F2. And F3, of course, Mike and Ivan can take you to the action for the season finale in Brazil here in TTML. And obviously, we have got VOS next week as well. It was obviously live on YouTube as well tonight. But that rounds us off very neatly indeed. Just to confirm, right before we end, driver of the day, Roygard?
Yes, Roygard.
Driver of the day, Roygard, indeed. And for anyone that's just tuning into the stream, there's no podium interviews tonight because we did run over a little bit there, and we both have to go, unfortunately, so that is that. But big thank you, of course, to Pariah joining me in the commentary box, as always. We're going to miss you, but I'm sure you're not going to be as much as missed next week if the championship comes down to an absolute showdown, because that is probably what's going to happen. The showdown of the ages, perhaps. Jamie, Kermit and Storm all batting out. First three in the championship, all batting out next week in Brazil. Season finale will come live here on Twitch. We're going to end off here, though. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.